Okay, guys, Thanksgiving continues. Today is all about the stuffing. So we are going to make a sausage chestnut stuffing. One of my favorite style stuffing. Very kind of classic, those classic flavors. So I have 2 pounds of basically like a breakfast, a sage sausage crumbled up here, browning up. I'm over medium heat. We're just letting it brown in the pan, get some color on there before we add our vegetables. So be patient with this part of it. You want to get some color, you want to get some caramelization. That's where the good flavor is. As that is browning, I'm going to dice up 1 onion and 2 stalks of celery. So a little trick with celery that I like. First I cut it in half. And then I flatten it. And now it's easier to dice for the stuffing, so you're not going around this round corner. And then we cut this into sticks, and then once it gets into sticks, we cut this into dice. I'm all done. And again, with your vegetables for Thanksgiving, all this kind of chop work you could do a couple days ahead of time, so then when it's time to make your stuffing, you're just kind of cooking and assembling, and you don't have to worry about the knife work. So you could get a jump on this. You spin it around, and then dice it up. If you are not comfortable in your knife skills, they do sell these vegetables around this time of year all cut up already. I'm not going to say don't do it. You could do it if you're in a pinch. You could also get them whole and kind of pulse them in your food processor to speed up the situation too. This isn't really something where you need this perfect dice. It's rustic. It's the holidays. It's family. Don't make yourself crazy. But obviously, the more you work with the knife, the better you're going to get with the knife. The faster you will get, the more efficient you will get. So the choice is yours. One of the reasons I typically don't buy stuff that's already chopped and diced up is you just don't know exactly when that happened at the store, so it could have been diced up weeks ago. There are grocery stores now that you give them a recipe, they'll cut it all up for you too, so those do exist.
How many days ahead can people prep this, would you say?
I think 2-3 days you could get your vegetables cut. The day before you could get your dressing or stuffing in the pan and ready to go. So you could get it put in the pan the day before. You could do all your chop a couple days before. So we're going to peel our onion. And I'm going to put a dice on this. This is kind of one of the reasons I do this too. It's like a little bit of a timing situation. The sausage is browning. That takes 5-10 minutes to do. Gives you kind of time to get this other stuff done. Come on, hands, don't fail me now. That's right. Isn't it great?
Fix it with food.
Fix it with food, baby. All right. So we go halfway through the onion. Because we're dicing it, we leave the core on, like so. Then we go most of the way back as we cut down. Flat part facing me. Give it a spin. Go straight down again. And now you have your dice. Go kind of all the way back to the root end. Norman, you don't like onions, buddy. Let's leave that alone. And then once you get to the back, kind of, I go down again like this, just to get maximum usage. Anything that's left, you could throw in stock if you haven't started your stock yet.
So it might be a good idea to prep all the vegetables,
100%.
as far, because then you can use all the rest for the stock, right?
You can prep your vegetables on Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so onions are cut, celery's cut. Let's see how our sausage is. This has almost got the color I want. Like, so it's pretty brown. See those brown bits forming. You just want a little longer, so this is about another minute. So as that's happening, before I put my veg in, I have some sage and some thyme, and we're gonna get our sage and thyme cut too. That's all this can kind of go in the pool at the same time, release all their flavors and their goodness. So these are real classic Thanksgiving flavors. So we go with our sage, we grab some thyme, These stems are pretty tender, so with the time, this isn't even a pick situation, just go very fine at the top where the stems are tender. When you're going through with your knife and you feel if it's getting a little fibrous in there, you could stop and then just pick off the leaves. But this is very kind of freshly picked. Actually pulled it out of the garden, freshly picked, so the stems are very tender, young thyme. Alright, so thyme is ready. I'm also going to need a half teaspoon of celery seed. So we'll put that right on top of there. Now we got all this good. Meat
How's
is
it
nice
looking
and
over
brown.
there?
Got good color, got good, see the bits on the bottom? Those are all gonna come up into this, which is gonna help flavor the gravy, or our stuffing.
Dressing.
My brain today, dressing, stuffing. My brain, it's not right. All right, so onions, celery, sage, thyme, celery seed, all go in. Remember, as soon as this goes in, we're going to want to make sure that we season it with our salt so it pulls out all the flavors. So we go with about a 3-finger pinch of salt right on top, a couple grinds of cracked black pepper. Give this a stir. And now any of the fat that got rendered out of the sausage is helping to cook our onions and celery, getting those nice and tender. We're not going to put any color on the onions and celery. We just want to cook them so they're like very aromatic and translucent. And when that happens, we're going to add our 3 cups of turkey stock, which we made a couple days ago. So if you didn't make turkey stock, you could buy stock. Stock goes in. This is, again, I don't cook the dressing in the turkey. So the turkey stock is what gives our dressing all the flavor that you would get if you cooked it in the turkey. The reason we spatchcocked the turkey this year, but I also never really cook it in the turkey either, because by the time the dressing reaches 160 degrees, which is a cooked turkey, the turkey's at about 190 degrees. So you get an overcooked turkey to eat the dressing safe. All right, so this goes in, bring it up to a simmer. And then we're just going to give it a taste. Make sure that we're seasoned okay. It's good. Good salt, good pepper, the herbs are coming through. But now we have our chestnuts. Aren't they beautiful? Peeled and ready to go. And I'm just going to crumble the chestnuts right in. Ooh, those chestnuts are good. I love chestnuts and stuffing. One of my favorites.
I love the smell of chestnuts. Like,
roasting on an open fire.
Yeah, that's
when Jack
it.
Frost is nipping at your nose.
yeah, it really does something to you.
Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite thing to eat on Thanksgiving, Alexa?
I think stuffing or dressing rather,
yeah.
because they always make a vegetarian version for me.
That's very kind.
Yeah.
You have a kind family.
I
always do too. I do a veggie and a not.
Yeah.
Regular.
But I like it all. Really,
Yeah,
it's a
just
great.
the best holiday.
It is.
Okay. So the last thing we have to do is we have a half stick of butter. We're going to add that to our simmering stock sausage vegetable mixture. And we're just going to stir this. As soon as the butter melts, it's ready to go over our bread. Now, we have 12 cups of bread here. As I said earlier, for years, I would buy bread, I would pull the bread, dry it out, toast it, all that great stuff, made delicious stuffing that way. One year I forgot to buy bread for stuffing. The morning of Thanksgiving, I ran out to the grocery store. There was nothing. There was no bread. And I found potato roll cubes, and I made stuffing that year. It was everybody's favorite. So now we do potato roll, cubed potato rolls, toasted cubed potato rolls as our dressing. Martin's, they do a great job. If you can get Martin's where you live, I highly recommend it.
Shout out.
No affiliation. Now we take our liquid, and we're going to take our liquid and pour it over top of our chestnuts and our bread. And this is a great one too, because there's no eggs in here, there's no cream in here. It's just that those delicious potato rolls, the sausage, the onions. It's very kind of straightforward, simple dressing. Fogging up. And you could have fun with this too. You could do different flavored sausages. If you wanted it spicy, you could do chorizo. If you wanted a little Italian flair, you could do like a sweet fennel or a spicy fennel sausage. You could do kielbasa. You could do bacon, you know, or you could, if you wanted to make it vegetarian, do mushroom as opposed to the sausage.
That was going to be my question.
How do you make it vegetarian?
Yeah.
I felt it coming. So all we're doing now is we're just mixing this in. You can see that the cubes are starting to break down a little bit because they're taking in some of that moisture, which is what we want, because they were toasted. So now they're kind of rehydrating with all that stock and the goodness and the flavor. Norman is psyched about it also, which I love. And you just want to make sure that you are thoroughly mixed. As soon as you're thoroughly mixed, you could put it in your baking vessel. Now, with the baking vessel, there are a couple different ways you could go about it depending on what your family prefers. If you like a moist stuffing, you could put it in a deeper vessel, start with the cover, finish it with the lid off, and then it's going to be like 3/4, you know, very soft and juicy with a little bit of crust on top. If your family likes a super crusty stuffing, cook it in like a lasagna pan so you get more surface area and more crust. If you want to do individual ones that have a big crust to bread ratio or soft ratio, you could do them in little muffin tins.
Oh, that's
another option. So the choice is yours.
Which do you prefer?
I like, this is my favorite because I like that. Something about, I liked a little bit of the crunch on top, but I also like it soft so it really takes on the gravy. Okay. I like a lot of gravy on my stuffing. Dressing. Alright, so we load up our pan. We start this off. Norman just smells sausage. He's so happy right now. And we're going to put the lid on here. And we're going to start this. It's a 350, 375 degree oven. 350, 375 with the lid on. And we're going to cook it with the lid on for about 30 minutes or so. And then we're going to pop the lid off at the end and let it finish. Remember, everything in here is cooked at this point. So now we're just cooking it to help it kind of come together, get some texture, heat up. So the lid goes on. Norman.
Norman's hungry for some dressing.
Norman is hungry for some dressing. And we're going to put this in. I have one in here, which we cooked with the lid on and removed the lid for the last 15, 20 minutes. To get a little bit of a crust in there.
Ooh.
You see it's nibbling away. Yeah, we got some good crust. It's absorbed most of that liquid. But see, it has that nice soft center. And this is like, I think so many people, a lot of people grew up with stuffing cooked inside the turkey, and this was the soft center situation. So this is kind of what I enjoy, is that soft center with a little bit of texture on top. The texture part is, again, you control that by the thickness of your pan or thickness of your dressing. So I'm going to put my little plate. I think I had a little bit of gravy made. I'm going to grab some of my gravy. Nice scoop of that dressing on there. See, this is how I like it. Oh yeah.
Gorgeous.
So, and you know, you can have fun with the herbs too. Like we did sage and thyme. If you wanted to add some flat leaf parsley, that would be nice in there. Again, if you were going Italian, if you're using Italian sausage, rosemary would be a nice herb. Let's give this a taste. So good. You got you know, obviously sausage brings a lot to the party, but the texture that the chestnuts get along with the bread, it adds a lot. You get a little bit of texture from the celery and the onions.
A plus.
A plus situation.
All right.
You could get the stuffing put in the pot the day before, put it in your fridge overnight, pull it out about 45 minutes before you want to cook it, and cook it the day of. You're good to go. If you cook it in a cast enamel or something like that, you could have it done an hour ahead of time, put the lid back on, it will stay hot for that hour. So, I think everybody's favorite about the Thanksgiving table, at least mine, dressing, stuffing, make sure it's perfect. This is a classic. I think you're gonna love it. Tweak it to your likings. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.